Welcome, Burgess Spotlight. We have my sixth interview. So in this sixth interview, I have Alejandra Sanchez Primo, and she's gonna tell us a little bit about like basically what it means to be an officer in class 2024, maybe even actually junior year, because she was also class officer in junior year, not in freshman and sophomore. I know freshman, most of our stories that we have been hearing about senior was like COVID, right? So COVID it has been detrimental, right? So it pushes a little back, and then come to sophomore, it's like, where do I start? Where are my friends? So it has been challenging. So first of all, tell us like being a senior, class 2024, your last year, right? What are you thinking about? Like, is going to be your greatest challenges?
I think including the students, the students that are from the class of 2024 is going to be one of our greatest. What did you say?
Challenges. It's okay. That's my daughter, so she's all nervous.
Sorry. Because I know a lot of kids are like, oh, I don't want to be involved in school. It's too much work, too much time you have to be dedicating to volunteering, or like, oh, I don't want to be like part of the cabinet, but that's not what it's about, really. You just volunteer, help out, and really it's like the work that you put in, it helps out to your class. Like the volunteering, everything like that. You, how do you say it? You're the one that se me olvidó, güey. Like you do the work, pero like it helps you out.
O sea, lo que da a entender, right? So what she's trying to say, that when you put an effort or work on it, yes, other people will enjoy it, but at the same time, it will make you better, and you will learn from it, and actually you will satisfy yourself with it, or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So what you're saying is, if you help, it helps you.
Yeah, it finds a way to come back to you, and.
Okay, awesome. So one thing that you are not looking for in 2024, like it's your last year, whatever, right? So one thing that you're like, oh man, this is not like, I hope not, or whatever, right? Like
that it goes by too quickly, and I regret not being as involved or not doing my best, not fulfilling, like, oh, I could have helped out more hours, or I should have gone to this event too, anything like that.
What is the difference between being an officer as a junior and being an officer as a senior?
Junior, it was, there was responsibility, but it wasn't as heavy as senior, because senior, it's like, this is your last year, you can't really miss out on a lot of things, and everything that you do right now counts for like us to be able to enjoy our last weeks as a senior or a student in our high school.
So you coming in, I mean, I kind of forced you, Bex, early college, right? But realistically speaking, I know some students don't go for early college, other ones are satisfied with just general, right? Mm-hmm. And I know right now this year is more more relaxed in certain classes you're taking, mm-hmm. comparable, right? Juniors is always like the more difficult in it. And even though you would try to get involved or not, for people that are barely a freshman or things like that, would you say that actually Bex is really, really, really challenging? Or is it challenging for certain things? What would you say that it is challenging, and would you recommend to still get involved, even if you're Bex?
The classes they can be challenging, but they're more flexible with Bex students usually, because I feel like they give out more opportunities to Bex students. I don't really know how the traditional high school goes, or like grading, anything like that, since I've been in early college thanks to my dad. He forced me to, but I really do not regret it. I know there's a lot of kids that get scholarships, things like that, and I think it's worth it. And also, you're going to be graduating with your associates, so that's really good. But you do have to put in the effort. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to sit in this classroom, do the minimum, and, you know, pass barely. Because then if you barely pass one semester and the other one you barely pass, it's not going to even out as much as one would think.
Okay, so coming into, again, senior, right? I know I talked to and asked the question, right? What are you looking for? And there's a lot of events, putting your head in and trying to get more people involved, right? I know there's about 300 seniors, you know. Realistically speaking, for you that you actually were in junior night, right? We were helping, we're doing those things. What will be the amount of students, of seniors, that you would like to see? And you will feel like this was very successful. Because I mean, like, if we do an event and it's like 10 seniors, you're like, oh, well, this wasn't enough. Yeah. But what will be a number that you'll be like, yes, it was successful?
I think more than 100. More than 100 is like really good. For our first junior night, we had like 20 to 30 people that showed up. And they were like, most of them stayed like the whole night, but some of them were coming and going, whatever. But I think it was pretty successful for our first night.
Well, you said like, well, what I heard, right? I heard the majority of people, they went and they haven't gone. They was like, oh, it was fun. You know, like everybody had a good time. And there were students that they have never been there. They never get involved,
There
but
were
even
new
though.
faces there.
New faces,
People
right?
that, like, oh, I've seen him around, her around, but they don't get involved into the events or any volunteer work, anything like that. So I think that was really cool that a lot of kids went.
Memories of your, the dance, like last year dance. Remember, and the stadium, they took video pictures and things like that of like the.
I forgot what it was called.
The Mustangs? No.
It's something Mustang.
Yeah, but
that we went on the field.
and the choreography and everything,
yeah.
you know. So, what was your experience, and what you think the experience was for the majority of them?
I think the majority of us had fun. It was a little stressful because we did try to rush because we did kind of procrastinate towards like the end, and we were like, oh, we only have like less than a week to practice. And it was a little chaotic, but we ended up doing good. We ended up remembering how to dance, all the props, everything. I think we had fun.
Yeah. So, to wrap up things, right? Besides the 2024, you know, the plans that you guys having, the conversations, right? How do you guys keep yourself in touch in a way of like still having a good communication? Because I mean, when you have 6, 7 people and each one has their own ideas and things like that, how do you guys resolve things in the right way so that way you can still produce something, right? Like, because I mean, if I'm talking 10 hours and I don't do anything, well, that's a nice conversation. But how do you guys make sure that, you know, that you make it happen?
We have various ways of communicating with each other, which is like iMessage, Instagram, but also all of us in the cabinet are Becs. So we all have like classes with each other for the most part, because I have most of them in my classes. So we can always just talk to each other. Angie, our president, like always comes up to talk to me, to ask me questions, my opinion, because I have her for like 3 classes. So I think, meeting outside of school, that also helps out to build our relationship, to make it stronger. Because if we were to just do our weekly meetings, our bond wouldn't be as strong. It would be more like, okay, we only hang out during school, whatever. But I feel like having meetings outside of school, the school environment, really helps to deepen that relationship with each other.
Okay. So, I know we're talking about getting involved, right? So you agree on that. You agree also, like, you know, get out of the comfort zone. Early culture is not as bad as it, you know, maybe seem, but you have to put some effort in it. What about sports? Is it important to get into sports or not? What do you think about those things? Because a lot of people don't get into sports, and it's okay, right? But
I think it's important to push yourself and try to go after something you like. If you like a sport, go try it out. The worst that can happen is like, oh, you don't make the team. That's fine. You can still play outside of school, like in the afternoon, whatever. But I feel like people should push themselves to try to obtain the things that they desire. And early college and sports, there's not really a problem with them. I think doing a sport is pretty helpful because it can be like how is it called, a getaway sometimes.
Yeah.
A getaway from like maybe some mental, emotional, or whatever, or even like school wise. You can like just, okay, I just finished school, whatever. Now I can focus on my sport or the club, even a club, theater, anything like that.
Healthy choices. How do you, as a high schooler, can do healthy choices? Because I mean, I know it's my daughter, right? And I talk to her like every day, and in the car I feel bad to her, you know, because sometimes I'm like driving and I'm like, remember this, remember this, remember that. I can't stop being at that. And then I'm here, I'm like, hey guys, I'm the cool teacher. And with my daughter, I'm like, watching you. But realistically speaking, I mean, I feel that a lot of times in high school it's difficult to find the healthy relationships, friendships, and things like that. And because, I mean, talking about that, right? But I feel that if you find a niche of good friends, but also you have like a goal in common, right? Like right now, you have class 2024. It seems like when I talk to them and you know, they are motivated, they're driven, they want things to occur and happen, and they're having a conversation and they're showing up. I feel like if they have that drive, right, and you guys start spending more time together, it can become a like really good friendship from here on, right? What about being open to new friendships?
I think people should be open to that. I know some people are like, oh, I'm introverted, I'm shy, I'm awkward, whatever. I don't fit in. And that's understandable. But sometimes you have to push yourself because you really don't know who can be like a good friend unless you try, you know? Like this, or like if you make a friend and you're like, oh shoot, I'm gonna be friends with them like lifelong because we're gonna be in the same career path, whatever, which is doesn't really happen, but that's a possibility too. Like you can make good relationships starting from high school.
So, class 2024, you have friends that are seniors. They are not involved a lot into things, right? And they're really good friends, you know. And my question is like, what would be, I guess, an advice, suggestion, a call out for seniors, and even from seniors, like for other people? What would you say about at least Burgess? How you find yourself? Because I mean, you coming from the east side, right? So you different schools there and jump and this and that, and now Burgess, it has been your 4 years, right? What would you tell them as a suggestion as someone that has already experienced basically 3 years Bex and going to the 4-1 as a even actually an officer? What would you tell them as an advice as a freshman, sophomore, junior, or seniors?
About the school or like a student wise?
Whatever.
Okay, so I'll go about school wise first. Burgess is a great school. There's not like a lot of fights. There's like rarely fights, anything like that. There's great teachers. It's a great environment overall. I think the kids here for the most part are really good. Obviously you have some kids that are like, they're weird. Just kidding, not weird. But I mean like, they don't care about school and they're just here like, oh whatever, I'll drop out or whatever. But I feel like overall it's a great school, a great environment. The admin is great as well. My dad, he's a great teacher. Physics and what else?
Well, Ronaldo in IPC.
That too. He's a great teacher.
I try to be. I don't know if I am, but I try.
And the teachers do make you feel welcomed. I think it's a great environment for kids. What was the other question? Like,
Well, as involvement.
Involvement, like,
Yeah, getting involved. Would you suggest? Will you? What will be one or two things that you will say? You should, like for seniors, I will say, you know what, as a senior, get involved with your class, right? Your senior class. If you're a junior, get involved into your junior. You know, those things. I know like a lot of people don't get involved in Stuco, even though, right? But that's something that at least once I feel like you should try. You know, you should try it once. You like it, you like it. You don't like it. A club, you know, maybe you're passionate about it. Try it once. You know, because I mean, you guys can try it almost anything you want it, and you can potentially try it. And if you like it, you stay. If you don't like it, but at least just try it, right?
Yeah.
So that's my perspective. But I don't know if you agree with that or not.
I think it's important to get involved. However, don't try to overdo it. Don't try to sign up for everything. Not many people can handle it because you get overwhelmed by all of these events, meetings, anything like that. That happened a little bit to me last year when I joined academic, swim, volleyball, NHS, buddies, Stuco. It was like a lot, and I did not do a lot of things because se me fue.
¿Se fue? No, ya no sé si voy a regresar. ¿Ustedes cómo ven?
Y ya se fue.
Y se perdió. Anyways. Well, okay. I mean, but you were overdoing yourself. And at the same time, because you're overdoing it yourself, then you stretch yourself very thin, right? So basically, you don't do your best in either one. You just do minimum in each one. And then you get burned out, right? Like you're like, oh, well, I don't want to do this. Then neither, and you start cutting off things, right? Even though you put yourself out there, you know. So again, that's great advice. I think it's like, yes, get involved. Pick one or two things, you know. You know, if you're general population, right? Like you're not doing bags, well, try maybe a club, maybe sport. It doesn't require a lot, you know, and see how you like it. You know, we have amazing coaches. You know, they're very passionate about the students itself. You know, they're passionate about actually winning too. So, I mean, you can find someone with certain characteristics that you can feel like, oh yeah, I definitely want to do this, you know, because of the teacher and the way he's teaching it. So get out there. I mean, not just because it's my daughter, you know, I had 6 interviews. I really want you guys to have the best memories. So if you're a senior listening to, like, get really involved. This is last year. You can make it the best year just by getting involved. My high school, the way that I went to high school in Mexico, it was kind of like, okay, good luck. This is your paper. God bless. And that was it. There was no prom. There's nothing like that, you know. And looking back, I was like, damn, like it would have been nice, you know. Even being sports, you know, being sports and actually playing outside and this and that, you know, traveling. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here. To be honest with you, a lot of times we just don't get out of the comfort zone. So please get out of the comfort zone. Please get involved. If you're a senior, junior, and we have an event, you know, this year, just try it. You know, I can promise you, if I'm there or any of the class officers are there, one thing that they have in common that we talk about it is that, you know, be kind, you know, be there, be kind, answer questions. It's not about being you know what, it's not about being, you know, I'm better at this. No. And as something that as a sponsor, one of the first things that I mentioned to everybody is like being a sponsor, but also be a class officer. And it is about everybody else. You are representing them, but also you bring them in. So they're supposed to be basically your representatives of the things that you guys want. So in order for you to be heard, you have to speak up and get close to them. You know, if you see my daughter, Alejandra, if you see Angel, you see any one of the interviews, please, you know, reach out. Be like, hey, dude, like, I didn't know you were this. Like, can you help me with this? If they took the class, ask them. If you ask a question about the other teacher, getting involvement, they know because, I mean, regardless of anything, they already went for 4 years, almost basically 3 years. And, I mean, we are here to help you out. Okay, so please reach out, and thank you again, Alex, for showing up and, you know, help being part of the class 2024. And we hope that we make this year an amazing year. Burgess High School has a lot of options for you guys, and we want you to make sure that you enjoy your whatever time it is. If you're here for 6 months only, that you walk and you're like, hey, Burgess was not bad, you know. Like I made some friends, good memories, it was a healthy environment, and they make it a good, high school. So if you're listening, Burgess rules. Okay, so thank you again, and see you soon.